Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So, there comes a time in everybody's life where they have to admit that they were wrong. And I believe my time has finally come. I watched Toy Story 2 the other day, and I was surprised to see that Woody was willingly going to go to Japan. He was willingly going to abandon Andy after being stolen from him. He was willing to, in terms of the story, abandon Andy, his kid. And what is the biggest issue that people find with Toy Story 4? This was my biggest issue. That Woody abandoned his kid, Bonnie. I know I kind of sometimes sit the fence on, some things. Like, I was kind of leaning also towards the belief that, hey, like, it's okay to realize when a good thing is up and when to switch gears and when to move on and when to cut your losses and go for the next thing, and Big Joel, who is someone whose videos I watch all the time, he was talking about Toy Story once as well, and he basically said that, how pathetic would it be for one's existence to be solely tied to making someone else happy? Like, one's entire existence, right? That was what Woody chose to do for Andy. He chose to tie his existence to being there for Andy, supporting Andy throughout whatever, until that relationship, reached its finale, until it ran its course, until Andy was over it. And he fulfilled that duty. He stayed, right? Like in Toy Story 2, he was strongly considering going to Japan. He even weighed his options. I could go back to Andy. I could, get beat up a little bit, get hurt, lose an arm. I could deteriorate with Andy and let that run its course until he's tired of me, until he disposes of me himself. Or I could be immortalized. But I think the story doesn't do a sufficient job of showing that Woody is immortalized regardless, because he has his own show, right? Like, he has all of this memorabilia, right? You don't need the Woody doll itself to prove that Woody existed, because all of these other things are available. The memorabilia, the posters, the life-size cutout, and the TV show. Woody's Roundup Gang, or whatever the fuck it was called. I do agree that it is pathetic to tie one's entire existence to making someone happy, even as a toy. And so in Toy Story 4, Woody, for the first time ever, chooses himself, right? He doesn't go to preschool just to make sure everything goes well for Bonnie. He does it like every day, right? He doesn't, keep an eye on her. He doesn't keep remaining in the shadows, protecting her, which, very selfless, very sweet. Woody has such a big heart. He doesn't do that for the entirety of Toy Story 4. At the end of it, he chooses himself. What would make me the most happy? I've done what I can for a kid. I watched him grow up and go to college, and I was there for him every step of the way. That would be Andy. Bonnie's not that tied to me like that. Her identity isn't infused with mine. We don't have those same memories, right? So I was there when she needed me. I was there, to be played with, for her to, play with me, involve me in her little imagination adventures or whatnot. And then I went to preschool to make sure she adjusted correctly or whatever, right? So Woody's done his job, essentially. Bonnie's a girl, so she's obviously not going to be as tied emotionally to Woody as she would be to like Jessie or Barbie or whatever, right? So Woody realizes that the relationship here with Bonnie, it's different. And that's okay. It'll never be the same as what he shared with Andy because there's only one Andy in the world. And so for that reason, I rescind what I said previously. Toy Story 4 is not a bad movie because of Woody's mischaracterization. That's not me saying that Toy Story 4 does not have its plot holes. That's not me saying that this movie is a 10 out of 10. But Woody's decision, Woody's character development made perfect sense, especially after watching Toy Story 2. It makes perfect sense that his character would lead to a point where he's done all the service he needs to do. He's done 18 years, probably 22 or so, like looking at Bonnie. Maybe 20, right, with Bonnie, adding 2 years, right? He's done. He's put in his time. It's time for him to retire and enjoy the rest of his natural toy life, whatever that means. I mean, he has eternity. I mean, it's not like toys die, right? So if he ever wants to go back into the make every child happy business again, then he can go find himself another kid, right? He can go back to Bonnie even, right? Lost toys show up all the time when you least expect it. Toy Story 1 taught us that. So I take back what I said. Toy Story 4 is not ruined because of Woody's decision. In fact, I do think Woody's decision is in line with his character, and it's a logical next step for him. And I think he just served his time. Woody served his time. He deserved to be free by Toy Story 4. Now, I can't wait to see what they do with Toy Story 5, because what on earth is there left to do? It is kind of sad that he decided to leave his friends. His friends went back to Bonnie, but he left, so definitely a reunion is due there.